This pregame show is presented by America First Credit Union. America First Credit Union has game-changing solutions for every financial need. Join the winning team today at americafirst.com. Soccer fans, welcome into Zions Bank Stadium for this Western Conference matchup between these two Mountain Division teams, New Mexico United and the Real Monarchs. Tom Hackett, I'm Landon Southwick. Thanks for tuning in on ESPN Plus tonight and joining us for this match. Both teams coming in interesting situations. We're going to check out the storylines for tonight, and that'll kind of tee up how things have been for both sides. New Mexico United leads the all-time series 6-1-0 and has been phenomenal here at Zions Bank Stadium. Second meeting between the two sides after they played one other match here at Zions Bank Stadium in early June in a 1-0 victory for New Mexico United, and Beavers making his second professional start for the Monarchs at only 16 years old. Let's check out the visiting player to watch. Josh Suggs, the captain, 2 goals in 2 games, in 2 consecutive games. USL leader in minutes played and a guy that is very capable. Las Cruces native. He's a guy that we expect to continue to have success, and with those 2 goals, he's flying high right now. Let's check out the home player to watch. And it's Gavin Beavers, the keeper, youngest keeper in USL Championship history at 16 years old, 1 month and 25 days, making the record last week. Second straight start, 5 saves in the 1-1 draw on the weekends. We're going to take our first break, and we'll be back with starting lineups next. Tonight's match is brought to you by America First Credit Union. America First is proud to be the official credit union of the Real Monarchs. Whatever you need for whatever matters most, America First is here to help. By MarketStar, explore something more at MarketStar. Visit marketstar.com for careers. By University of Utah Health, the trusted healthcare provider for the RSL family and yours. Visit uofuhealth.org. And by Zions Bank, for banking that helps you tackle every financial challenge. Zions Bank is for you.
When you're a member at America First Credit Union, there's only one goal that matters, and that's whichever one is important to you. So whatever help you need to get started, or how much guidance you need along the way, we'll be right alongside you until you reach it. Because the only goal that matters to us is yours, truly.
You are the sunrise waking my day.
I miss you guys.
You are the moonlight shining my way. This is where I call home.
It's never been more true. We take care of Utah like Utahns take care of each other. University of Utah Health.
Back live here at Zions Bank Stadium. Tonight's lineups are brought to you by America First Credit Union. America First is proud to be the official credit union of the Real Monarchs. Whatever you need for whatever matters most, America First is here to help. Let's check out the squad that Troy Lassane put out tonight.
Beigel in goal, 28-year-old, is the oldest USL player to make debut. He's the German goalkeeper for United. Suggs the captain, Schmidt, Ryden, Tete, and Bruce will play across the back 5. Tenari and Guzman in the middle. Rivas, Illich, and Devon Sandoval, who I believe has cut his dreadlocks, will play up top. Hammerson Alave's men will be a 4-3-3. Morgan Sasaudo, Adams, and Powder in front of Beavers, Portillo Brown, Alosky in the midfield, Douglas Martinez Jr., Wehan, and Briggs, your front three for Hamilton Olave and the Real Monarchs.
And that's the lineups. Monarchs wearing their Cobalt kits tonight. New Mexico United in their yellow and black kits. Monarchs were moving from right to left across your TV screen. Sun's gonna set on us here over the Western Mountains, but it might be a little difficult here for the first view. Again, I'd like to thank all those of you tuning in here on ESPN Plus or locally on KSL TV app, especially those down in New Mexico. Thanks for tuning in. You can tweet at us on Twitter, jump in the conversation. We'll try to keep an eye on the old Twitter machine throughout the match and bring you guys, some of you guys, into the conversation. So we're underway here at Zions Bank Stadium. Powder back to Salcedo, making his second straight start for the Monarchs. He looked good in the match on the weekends. Portillo, Milan out wide to Martinez. Handful of RSL guys getting minutes down with this team. And Tom, what does that do for some of these guys, and what position does that put them in?
Adds pressure, I think it's fair to say, when you're a first-team player, first-team caliber player, and being given minutes with the second team. You know, there is added pressure there. You want to perform well, you want to be the best player on the pitch, and for somebody like Douglas Martinez Jr., he has to be that guy. Portillo, Ashton Morgan, a handful of these guys have Noah Powder, another one. A little more pressure to perform, but at the same time, if they're good enough, that'll come, and they'll be able to showcase that. It's interesting. Briggs is up top for the Monarchs. Martinez looks like he's going to play on the right, and Alosky on the left, with Wehan playing as that number 10 role. Monarchs here in trouble.
Good opportunity there. Sandoval just not on the same page as his teammates. If he'd picked up his head, he might have seen that the far side of the pitch was completely open with nothing going for the Monarchs and no one back defensively. Wehan. Ball stays in play. Looks like it was a hesitation from our AR here on the near side. Ball stayed in, and Mexico United moves forward.
Congratulations to a handful of players. Briggsy up top is making his first professional start. So congratulations to number 42 for the Monarchs. And Philip Beigel in goal for New Mexico United, 28-year-old making his first professional start.
Ball inside, Wehan inside the area, trying to get it over to Briggs, unable to do so. Monarchs still with the pressure moving forward. Powder out wide to Martinez. Martinez puts it to Milan. Milan gets a shot off temporarily. And it'll go out for a corner kick. And the Monarchs will win their first corner kick here in the 3rd minute of play.
That's good ball movement. Douglas Martinez made a spectacular run, found himself in acres of space, and decided not to take a touch because he saw Milan Alosky all alone around the penalty area, who ended up getting to the football first. Just lovely challenge there by New Mexico United to send it out for the Monarchs' first corner.
Corner kick will be taken by Portillo. Portillo will swing it in, looking towards Briggs, headed away. And Martinez will chase it out and go out of play, and it looks like it'll be a Monarchs throw-in.
That's a sensational delivery from Justin Portillo. Real Salt Lake, the first team, could use with some of that delivery service, or at least could have over the past couple of weeks.
Monarchs have some tall bodies in the match tonight. Salcedo, Briggs, and something they've lacked at times is that height and back on corners, and they've gone to the short corner many times this season because of that fact.
It's one of the reasons you decide to play Briggs up top is you want to get it to him, you want to feed the big fella in the air. It's the opposite in which New Mexico United and Troy Lesane are trying to do with Illich and Sandoval. Now, they're not small by any means, but you certainly want to play feet and in the air. As we take a look at the officials, Landon, Callan Rodasav.
Our center official tonight, and some other recognizable faces. Jordan Downs being our 4th official. Bruce out wide. Good opportunity coming. Bruce cuts in, Adams with him. Illich at the top of the area. Illich settles, tries to clip it in. Is deflected by the Monarchs.
Devin Sandoval finding the football early there.
It's just a different look. It's like that moment when, as you can see, Troy Lesane, head coach for New Mexico United, suspended last time these two teams met up in early June.
Ah, you naughty man, Troy.
But a heck of a coach, and one that's shown he is very capable of winning games here in the USL Championship. Always been impressed by him and his demeanor and the passion that he brings to the game. So I'll take a look at Hamas and Alave, head coach for the Monarchs. 2019 USL Championship head coach.
Big, bad, and bustering Hammerson Alave, isn't he? You still reckon he could get out there and strap on the boots, don't you think?
Yeah, listening to some podcasts this week. I was listening to the USL show on Apple Podcasts and was heard a conversation with former general manager Dan Egner of the Monarchs, and he was talking about how Briggs in one of the early games, or in a couple seasons ago, was out on the pitch because they were short on numbers. And he says he could definitely still get minutes in the USL Championship, if not the MLS. So kind of interesting to hear that. Oh, beautiful turn by Milan.
That's a great touch there. Milan, he showcased his class a few weeks ago with a brace. He earned himself USL Team of the Week honors for it. He's a young kid. He's trying to make a name for himself, and he's gotten off to a decent start, I think you'd have to say.
Yeah, he's looked good. He's definitely shown that he's capable of being on this pitch with this Monarch side, and probably should challenge for some minutes, or at least an opportunity to be on the bench with Real Salt Lake. Got a handful of RSL guys watching the match tonight. Real Monarchs legend Michael Chang in attendance, supporting some of his buddies and teammates. RSL is back next week when they face LAFC at the Riot. Help RSL defend the fortress by getting your tickets now at rsl.com. Bruce, and that ball doesn't get deflected, and he's maybe has a clearer path towards goal. Adams battling. Adams will knock it off Bruce for a throw-in for the Monarchs. Troy Lesane's side, and we've talked about it, sitting in that true 5-3-2, but changing the way they attack and defend will be kind of the adjustments on that formation.
I think most teams nowadays have some sort of different formation based on whether or not they're attacking or defending. I know from a Monarch standpoint, they prefer to defend in a 4-4-2, but like to attack in a 4-3-3. Great ball there into the feet of Weehan.
Briggs got to do a little bit more with the ball when it's coming into him, being up top alone with some of the help out wide. Weehan's done a good job in that 10 position tonight for the Monarchs, and Weehan's a name that many New Mexico fans recognize. Little brother of Chris Weehan.
Going back to
United player.
Sorry, Landon, going back to the formation quickly as Milosky gets on the ball, finds Martinez out on the right.
Martinez plays it inside, looking for Briggs. Headed away by New Mexico United. Flags up on the far side. It'll be an offside call on the Monarchs.
New Mexico United up to start with 5-3-2 formation, but I have to imagine as they go forward, that's going to look more like a 3-back, you know, with wing backs. Suggs and Bruce are probably going to be the likely candidates to play that role. They're going to be doing a lot of running this evening as our man, Beavers, touches the football for the first time this evening.
And, you know, we haven't talked about this, Tom, but it's pretty incredible to think what we have going on in this match. On the weekend, Gavin Beavers plays his first professional game, 16 years old, almost 2 months. You got a guy on the opposite side, Weigel being in goal, 28 years old. Think about that difference. 12 years between the two players.
It's quite remarkable.
Weehan to Milan. Milan looks forward, takes a shot, and off-tates it, but deflected off Morgan, and Monarchs will have another opportunity going forward. Another deflection. A giveaway by the Monarchs. Here's where this gets interesting. Sandoval trying to run in. Ball played slight back to Beavers. Beavers does a good job, calm, cool, and collected to come out and get the ball where it needed to go.
That's well done from Sasado. Big fella. He's looked good so far. Lovely ball in there to Weehan, but Tete good enough to close it down.
Sure, it's funny for many New Mexico fans to hear the name Weehan going the opposite way on them. Monarchs have looked dangerous today in the build-up and the way they've built up, but you can tell so far the Monarchs trying to get it wide and trying to put balls inside the box to Briggs or going directly up the middle through Weehan.
Correct. I think when you look at the formation for the Monarchs, it's another great example. They're looking to get the ball out wide.
Briggs, ball inside to him. Briggs turns, tries to get out around Ryden. One of the best defenders in the USL Championship, takes care of business, but does concede the corner kick.
You've got Ashton Morgan, an MLS veteran playing left back with one of the brightest young stars this club has to offer in Milan Ilowski on the left wing, and on the other side, Noah Powder, a first-team player that's torn up the USL league over the years, playing at right back with Douglas Martinez, who was Real Salt Lake's starting striker just a year ago. I mean, two very, very strong fullback into wingers combinations. There's no surprise they're trying to.
11th minute. Ball out to Powder. Powder's going to try to put it in, takes a deflection. Ball's going to go out for a Monarchs throw-in.
Powder just signaling over to Justin Portillo. Hey, next time that happens, make sure the ball stays a bit lower. It was an awkward delivery from Portillo to find the feet of Powder, who tried to crack one from about 40 yards. That would have been goal of the year.
And Tom,
you had the car already if that goes in.
Tom, you have to be a little frustrated if you're Hamas and Olave in a situation like that. Do not want to be giving up opportunities on set pieces like that. It's not even putting pressure on goal.
Yeah, I mean, you look at just the height that the Monarchs have out there. Sasado, a big fella. Briggs, we've talked about a ton. Adams, the other centre-back, can throw his weight around. Brown in the heart of the midfield, number 54, is reasonably sized. And Douglas Martinez is arguably the most athletic player on the field. So you've got to get the ball in there and find some of the big fellas when they do push forward.
Suggs. Illich. Suggs wearing the captain's armband for New Mexico United. Beavers going to rise high and collects the ball. And Tom, one of the things we saw last week with Gavin was maybe a little bit of inexperience on a couple plays. Other than that, very solid 5 saves and showed that he's capable of being a USL championship goalkeeper. On the opposite side, you have to wonder, do you put Philip Beigel in a moment where you have to make him make some decisions in his first pro start? Because if you can get him in a situation like that, you know, sometimes it's that 50-50. You've got the nerve in a guy's veins, you've got something going on, and we'll see if he tonight has those moments where he gets tested, where it's like, do you make the veteran move, or do you show your youth and inexperience?
No, I think you have to test somebody who's in their first professional start. I think that would be foolish not to. I just don't know if, you know, for example, going back a few minutes ago when Noah Powder tried to hit one from about 50 yards. I don't know if that's necessarily the way to go about things from a Monarch standpoint, but you know, if you're on the outside of the box, Milan Ilowski's had an opportunity where he went to hit one on his non-preferred left foot from outside the area with a few bodies in front of him. If that finds a way to squeak its way through, I mean, yeah, that's going to put Beigel in some serious distress and pressure and make him kind of step up early to make a save. And if I'm New Mexico United, regardless if Beavers has played this year or not.
Martinez out wide. Martinez picks up his head, looking inside the box, trying to find Ilowski, and shot on goal just wide of net as Sam Brown put his laces through that ball, just could not keep it down.
It's a great build-up from a Monarch standpoint. They keep pestering out there on that right flank. We'll take another replay at it. Douglas Martinez puts a ball in. That's Milan Ilowski. Great touch, and then Sam Brown unleashes with his left peg. He's very good with both feet, old Sam Brown. Unfortunately, he got a little too carried away there. But another great opportunity for the Monarchs, who've looked really, really lively. Specifically up that right flank, Douglas Martinez, played slightly out of position, is really starting to find his form, it seems.
The USL is committed to supporting the LGBTQ+ community. Through the Forever Proud project, the USL will strive to create safe and welcoming environments for all fans, players, employees, and partners. Learn more at uslsoccer.com/forever-proud. Salcedo. This guy looked very solid in his last match for the Monarchs. Morgan trying to play it forward. Puts it kind of an awkward position. Tenari picks up his head over to Bruce. Bruce gonna take it from distance, and Bruce! 1-0 New Mexico United. As Bruce saw an opening and capitalized to put New Mexico up in the 15th minute.
That's a cracking strike from Bruce, who finds the bottom left-hand corner. Which is against the run of play. New Mexico United find a way, as they've so often done at Zions Bank Stadium, to just pester the goal and keep plucking away, and off no step, he just unleashes a cannon and bounces right at an awkward height for Beavers, who doesn't get his right mitt in the way, and back at the onion bag it flies. But here's what I'll say, it was really, really lazy defending by the Monarchs. Tenari found the ball after a poor turnover from Morgan with acres of space, and Oloski, who was right there, didn't pressure Tenari, who easily found Bruce. And look, don't get me wrong, take nothing away from the strike, it was a superb strike. It's just there was no pressure. The build-up was so easy for New Mexico United, and after such a great start for the Monarchs, they've just let it all go to waste.
Douglas Martinez on the touchline trying to play it in. Not the numbers he was looking for. He'll try a second opportunity over everybody's head. But you can see the Monarchs are going to go at that all night long, trying to get it wide to Martinez and trying to put service in towards Briggs, who's very capable and scored often in his college career. Big goal there by Briggs. Or excuse me, by Bruce. What a strike from him.
Oh, what a wicked strike. I mean, take nothing away from it. I feel bad talking about the poor defensive structure from the Monarchs, because the goal itself doesn't deserve for that conversation to be had. Beavers will be disappointed with himself at 6'4". I know he's young, and we talked about that, but you know, when you allow an attacking player to hit a ball from such distance, I mean, it was 25 yards from goal, off no real step, to find the back of the net. That's
Suggs wide. Suggs picks up his head. Salcedo there, puts out his foot and causes distress. Another opportunity goes wide. And the Monarchs are kind of sitting a little bit on their heels here in the last couple minutes after performing well through the first 14 or so.
They look really good attacking. They just look really poor defending. They just haven't had to defend a ton. Kind of a wasted delivery there by New Mexico United, but it was another promising build-up where Suggs was able to cut in on his preferred left foot and look to find the back of the net, only for a nice deflection to be made by Salcedo, the big fella. This is the chess match, and this has always been the chess match against New Mexico United from a Monarchs standpoint.
Good little turn there by Rivas.
Yeah, it's silky that. Here we go again. There's just not
Tenari.
a ton of pressure on the ball carrier.
Back to Rivas. Rivas inside. Couple little combinations there.
That's pretty football from New Mexico United, and they're unfortunate not to get at least a shot on goal at the end of it. But it's too easy. It's just too easy, and it's been this way for too long. If you're a Monarchs fan, they're moving the football arm, New Mexico, up the guts, rather convincingly, rather easily. That's why Sam Brown's in the team for this very reason. He's a big, formidable, defensive-minded midfielder. He's got to do better.
Monarchs maybe looking a little unsure here in the last few, but something we saw last game from them. Confidence grew as the match went on. As guys got an opportunity to combine together, the defense had time to react. And tonight, obviously getting scored on, not ideal, but they've been in this position. New Mexico United, on the opposite hand, has been very skilled and phenomenal here at Zions Bank Stadium, dominating the Monarchs in the last year and a half or so. On the road, can't watch the match? Turn on Sirius XMFC, North America's only 24/7 source of soccer radio, featuring Ray Hudson, Tony Miola, and Rodney Marsh. Fans of the USL can now listen to the best matches of the week, along with action from MLS, the Premier League, the UEFA Champions League, and more. Sirius XMFC, channel 157 on your Sirius XM radio and the Sirius XM app. Monarchs have RSL's organization as a whole with a lot going on tonight. The MLS is next tournament happening. The U15s in the semifinal. We're leading 2-0. Off to get an updated score here in a second. Fernando Delgado in goal for the U15s, and a guy that we've seen on the bench yet to make his start. If he makes a start, he'll break the record set by Gavin Beavers. I think a whole 6.5 months. A lot of youth.
Didn't Jeff Dusnip break the record earlier in the year?
He was just short of the record, but was one of the youngest keepers in USL Championship history.
It's quite remarkable just what this organization's been able to do from a goalkeeper standpoint. You've obviously David Ochoa, who's getting time with the US men's national team. He's the youngest goalkeeper involved in a lot of those camps. Oh, here we go. It's such a poor touch from Briggsy, who did so well to pinch the football off. But off his shin, it goes flying to New Mexico goalkeeper. David Ochoa's in RSL's #1 goalkeeper. You've got Jeff Dusnup, who's out injured at the minute, but just 16, 17 years of age. And then this young man, Gavin Beavers, of similar age. And then the under-15 goalkeeper,
Fernando Delgado.
Fernando Delgado is meant to be a special prospect and prodigy as well. It's quite strange. I have no idea how they're going to handle themselves.
But tonight, when we've talked about this, not as much in this game. Beautiful touch there by Bruce, just wide. And Bruce is going to be kicking himself as he had a great opportunity there. Maybe even had Beavers beats. Just could not finish.
I mean, Bruce is all over the park at the minute. What a ball that is. And again, Noah Powder, who's so talented. I mean, he's one of the members of Real Salt Lake, of the first team. He's on that team. He's on the roster. He's a part of the squad. He just, like, unconvincingly, it almost looks lazy. Just lets the ball float over his head. Isn't all that flustered or worried about it, and nearly paid the ultimate price there with a Bruce shot. Should have been on target. Credit Noah Powder for getting some sort of pressure on Bruce's shot in the end, but I mean, what a build-up that is from New Mexico United, who started this fixture certainly on the back foot. Monarchs in a lot of control. That narrative has changed over the last 10-odd minutes. It's New Mexico United making the most of their opportunities now.
Weehan goes down, no foul called. Mexico United going to get some subs up and moving. Not sure if there's someone down as Sandoval gets it wide to Suggs. Suggs knocked off his foot by Ashton Morgan. A good defensive effort there by Morgan. But yeah, subs getting up, moving for New Mexico United. We'll keep an eye on that, see if we can see anybody that may be in distress.
That was another error made by the back line of the Monarchs. This time, Sosado kind of got the football trapped under his feet. Devin Sandoval pounced, tried to play Suggs in. Probably could have taken a shot. Most number 9s would have done that. It was a tremendous play by Ashton Morgan in the end to put the attack to bed.
A lot of fans in New Mexico really excited about that Bruce goal. And got to get a kick out of Austin's tweet. What a goal by Daniel Bruce. I almost threw out my shoulder celebrating.
Oh dear, look after yourself.
Gotta love the passion. So we'll try to keep an eye out on tweets. If you want to join the conversation with us, you can use the hashtag @SLCVMN. Or you can tweet directly at us, at Landon Southwick and at Tom Hackett.
Correct.
Questioned myself as I got halfway through that.
That's
but,
all right. I nearly helped you out. I thought I'd make you panic and worry.
I'm sweating up here, but it might not just because of the struggle there finding the correct thing. It's this heat from across the field. Enter to win the Real Monarchs Text to Win contest. Each match will give you a keyword to text for a chance to win a pair of tickets to every single home match for the following month. Winners are randomly selected at the end of each month. So the more games you watch, the more chances you have to win. Tonight's keyword is Monarchs. Text Monarchs to soccer. That's 762237. Message and data rates may apply. For a full set of rules, visit realmonarchs.com/contest-rules.
I mean, there's good reason. Careful goalkeeper after watching all these
That's
Euros.
the Spanish game.
Yeah, Simon, Spanish goalkeeper. I was like, makes me nervous now just watching any back pass to a goalkeeper. You couldn't write that script. Nice touch there from Portillo.
Sandoval coming in, does a good job. Provides some opportunity for Suggs. Suggs picks up his head. He's got Illich and Bruce on the far side. Goes to Bruce. Bruce tries to settle. Still has it. Looking over to Tanari. Tanari picks up his head. He's got space. Tanari cuts backs. Goes towards goal. And a beautiful one! My goodness. Tanari painting a picture and puts it in the back of the net. New Mexico United leads 2-0 here at Zions Bank Stadium.
That's another tremendous strike from a New Mexico United player, Tanari. On this occasion, just tucks the ball behind his left foot before wrapping his left foot around it into the top left, I should say, corner, beating Gavin
And
Beavers. But
nothing Beavers could do on that
there's
scenario.
nothing Beavers can do, and you feel for the young man because you know he wants to perform well. He's just 16 years of age. He's expecting a lot. He has no help from his midfield or defensive units. There's no pressure. Sam Brown just got turned far too easily and wasn't even able to stick a leg out in the hope of deflecting the shot. It's inexcusable for the Monarchs. I don't care how much talent they have from Real Salt Lake playing at this level. If they can't defend, they're never going to win many games. They're never even going to be in games for that matter. And this is a great example of that. New Mexico United, for how poorly they started, have been so good over the last 15 minutes. And now they find themselves up 2-0. There's no way they're 2-0 better than the Monarchs at the minute. But
Martinez gets around two defenders, plays it over to Powder. Powder back to Portillo, a little behind him as he'll react. Back wide to Martinez. Martinez plays it inside the box. Schwartz gets his head on it, but not cleared completely. Morgan holding it in. Morgan over to Weehan. Weehan picks up his head. He's going forward, and a bad giveaway as he saw Milan in space, but just did not hit it as he picked up his head maybe a little too quickly.
as has been often the case for the Monarchs. Another example here, they just look at this. It's just unbelievable how New Mexico are able to just pass the ball around them.
A formation, Bruce playing high like that, really been in the attack all night long. Bruce, defended by Powder, goes towards the touchline. Powder does a good job defending him, but will concede the corner kick. James on Twitter says, Mr. Tanari, take a bow.
Tanari's
Bombs
been superb.
only tonight.
Tanari has been superb. New Mexico United as a whole have been really good. And it's one of the reasons that they're one of the premier teams in the competition and have been for so many years is they're able to defend pressure as they were able to do so through the first 5-10 minutes of this game. And then when their time comes, they capitalize on their opportunities. They're a classy football team. Troy Lassane, he's got some weapons. He's got some serious players that play in the yellow and black.
Haven't had a perfect season. Here's a play from the training grounds and a good opportunity there from Schwartz. Monarchs going to try to counter with one. Getting it wide to Milan. 4-3-2 on the season so far for New Mexico United. 2-2-1 away from home, looking for their third victory on the road. And in control at this point, 2-0 here in the 29th.
But they've been a dangerous team for quite some time. And there's good reason for that. They're a unit. They're a well-coached unit. They have players that make plays, and they know where to attack and how to get the most out of their teammates.
Ball forward, Weehan. Ryden wins it easily. Sandoval gets the second touch. Martinez now switched. He's playing here on the near side now. Looks like Monarchs are trying to make an adjustment, see if they can change the game a little bit. Ryden takes down Martinez. Martinez turns to the fourth official. Fourth official says nothing there.
That's the first tactical adjustment made by Hamilton Alave. Ashton Morgan wanting Beavers to come off his line. Beavers decides not to, and it'll be a throw into New Mexico United. But what's interesting here is it seems like New Mexico United may have made some sort of an adjustment as well. Bruce was about to take the throw in. I thought maybe for a second he swapped sides with Suggs, but it appears that they have not. So Douglas Martinez will go to the left. Milan Alowski will go to the right.
Looks like Milan's sitting more centrally.
And
Weehan will go.
And that's kind of what I thought Hamilton Alave and the Monarchs were going to do at the start of the game. I thought Weehan was going to play on one of the wings. I thought Milan Alowski was going to play more centrally because he looked really, really good when he played centrally a few weeks ago, scored that brace. He was dangerous.
Sun's finally down in the western skies over the Ochre Mountains. Shade envelops the pitch. Rivas will take the corner here in the 31st. The north end of the stadium, Rivas will swing it in with his right foot. Rivas putting it in towards the spot, headed towards goal. And Adams was down on the pitch holding up his hand saying, yeah, you had to have just seen that.
Go and then, yeah, go farther.
See a replay look at that.
Heads down!
Powder towards Portillo. Weehan dribbling into space, defended by 3, gets it up to Briggs. Briggs trying to get it back. There'll be a throw-in coming for the Monarchs.
Dev lower! Illy higher! Dev lower! Good, Illy. Don't worry about that one, no.
Beautiful summer night here in Harriman, Utah. Temperature has been quite warm, but not overly warm here in Utah this week. Drought continues. I feel like we haven't seen rain in the last couple months, Tom.
I know. Well, south of Utah got a bit of rain. I don't know if you saw the images. Iron National Park got absolutely pelted. And up in Salt Lake City, I know you're a bit north, but Salt Lake City got a bit of rain yesterday, not a ton.
Monarchs are celebrating Christmas in July as they battle El Paso Locomotive on July 9th. Take advantage of our family 4-pack, 4 tickets and 4 ornaments for just $36. Call 844-REAL-TIX. That's 4 tickets and 4 ornaments for $36. Call 844-REAL-TIX. In the 33rd minute here at Zions Bank Stadium, Monarchs trail 2-0. And 2 wonder goals. And things of beauty from the midfield of New Mexico United. Tenari all the space as he'll move forward, picking out Rivas. Rivas with numbers in front of him, looking wide to Bruce. Bad ball there from Rivas. And Powder's gonna go forward. Powder looking towards Milan. Milan out wide, got Briggs in center of the park. Martinez on the far side. Ball doesn't get far enough, as Martinez was sitting alone in space, calling for the ball.
Douglas Martinez had the entire box to himself. If Milan could have just taken a split second longer and seen the run made by the Honduran international. It all began with Noah Powder, who's been quiet up until this point, cutting off a pass, and then making his way up through the center of the park, spring bolting that attack. But again, yeah, I think this is what's so impressive about New Mexico United. They're never in a rush. It's a poor ball there. Communication probably needed to be had with Salcedo, who didn't need to kick the ball out in the end. He probably could have taken a touch, controlled it, and played his way up.
And Tom, it was interesting. Maybe in the first few minutes we saw a handful of bad passes by New Mexico United, but here in the last little bit, it's been the Monarchs making some of those mistakes. So we're going to see a foul called as Portillo drags down Illich, and it'll be a free kick coming.
Well, what I love about New Mexico United, what they've been able to do is, you know, even when they get a high press, we'll take another look at the foul here. Pretty self-explanatory. Portillo just kind of throws him. It looks somewhat soft, but foul nonetheless. Even when Real Monarchs high press New Mexico United, they always seem calm and composed, and they kind of pass their way out of trouble. And next thing you know, Tete or Tenari or Rivas or one of these players he's got a ton of space.
Bruce and Suggs. Suggs will swing in with the left foot. Beautiful ball there, headed away by Salcedo. Not completely, still in the area. Out to Guzman. Guzman plays it back in. A lot of numbers there. But Sandoval.
Monarchs are away here if Ashton can. He's just not fast enough, the old fella. Oh, dear.
Ryden does a good job to win the throw-in. Give Ryden all the credit in the world there. Getting back defensively and winning the throw-in.
It's pretty bad from a Monarch standpoint. And that's a foul.
Fans will protest that one, but a foul called.
I have no idea how you protest that. He's hacking at the heels of Tete.
Monarchs still up, or excuse me, RSL Academy up 2-0 in the USL, or excuse me, in the MLS Next Cup.
Under 15 level.
Yep, in the semifinal tonight against San Jose Earthquake. Axel Kai with the goal, and Judd Welling with the other goal. Fun talent coming up through the pipeline there with the U15s. The way the Monarchs have played young talents, it's possible to see a few of those guys maybe later this season. Monarchs with 5 16-year-olds that have played here in the 2021 season, including Gavin Beavers.
Tony Beltran, Landon. Tony Beltran made it very clear at the start of the season when we had the chance to interview him at halftime that it's not necessarily about wins and losses for this unit. It's about developing talent and trying to build players to be good enough to do something at the first team level. Championships are won at the MLS level and not the USL level.
And one of the things that we've seen is those guys playing and having opportunities early on in the season. And a fun one is Hasiel Orozco down with the Mexican national team, training with the group in preparation for the Gold Cup. Not necessarily a call-up, a true call-up, but he is with the full national team down there training.
Well, that's pretty special. Well, what a ball that is from Douglas Martinez.
Weehan tries to get in behind, and Weehan did a good job reading the ball.
Man, what
Just
a
was
ball.
maybe let down by his touch. For the W, the USL recently announced the formation of the USL W League, providing increased equity and opportunity for women looking to pursue careers in soccer, both on and off the pitch, comprised of clubs from across the championship, League 1, League 2, and new expansion markets. The USL W League is set to begin play in 2022 in more than 30 communities across the United States. Head over to uslwleague.com to learn more. Wide to Martinez, just outside the area. Bad ball from him lets down the Monarchs as Portillo takes a crack from distance. And Portillo maybe caught Beagle sleeping a little bit, and the Monarchs pull one back here in the 38th minute.
Well, it just goes to show. We talked about it earlier in the match. These goalkeepers just look so uncomfortable. One at 16 years of age, just in their second professional start. The other at 28 in his first professional debut. They just don't look comfortable, whether the ball's at their feet, they're trying to make a save from distance, and this is a very similar shot to what Bruce had for the New Mexico United opening goal, only from further distance away. Portillo, it's just so awkward for a goalkeeper to be able to go down and save the ball to his either left or right side when it's on the ground like that.
Well, and Tom, I think he deserves more credit for that shot than we were maybe giving him initially on the first look.
It had movement.
He definitely placed that where he wanted to. It was dropping and hit the turf at the exact right moments in front of Beagle, and he was not able to get completely down on that goal.
Yeah, no, it was certainly a tremendous shot, much like Bruce's goal was for New Mexico United to open up the scoring. It was a remarkable ball, had some movement, some dip, incredibly difficult That's like the third time Illich has gone down. First time it was called, although I made mention it was soft.
Illich down inside.
The second time he was clipped by Salcedo. And this is the third. I mean, there's absolutely nothing in that. And if he was playing at a higher level, he's probably getting fined.
Still inside, down inside the box. Mexico United not concerned on kicking it out. So they'll finally kick it out, and he's going to get assistance down in the box.
And if he is injured, I think he injured himself. I don't think Salcedo did anything. Maybe stepped on his foot.
Well, and Tom, in a situation like this, the one hope that you have is that it's not something, a non-contact, as it looks like he might have stepped on his heels. We'll take another look at that here in a second.
Oh, no, there is contact on the left foot. I do apologize.
But he seemed like he was holding it a little higher. Holding it more on the ankle, so you hope that nothing happened there on an Achilles.
Yeah, no, I was certainly in the wrong. I didn't see contact on the first replay, but looking back on it, there's certainly contact there. And Salcedo has to be careful.
They look like they just mentioned to the bench that they need to make a substitute. I think we might be seeing a no, maybe not.
I mean, good thing there's no VAR in this league if you're a Monarchs fan, player, or coach, because if you go back and have a look at that on replay, if the head referee had a chance to have a look at that, I mean, there's reason to believe that maybe
could mention for a PK.
Yeah, I mean, Salcedo has to be careful. The big fella, he's got long strides. I assume long, big boots, and be careful where you place him.
Looked like it was maybe a thumbs up instead of the substitution motion that I was seeing, as he's going to come right back onto the pitch.
I do think maybe Illich made the most of it, but he has every reason to do so. It was in the box. Referee calls it. It's a penalty.
Rivas and Guzman not on the same page, as Guzman was checking two. Rivas was checking two. Guzman thought he was running forward.
It's rather apparent Gavin Beavers, just as talented as he may be, is not comfortable with the ball at his feet.
Well, Tom, I think a lot of that plays into the scoreline. 2-1 New Mexico United. You're sitting in a game where you're down goal. You've got one back, and you had opportunities as a team, but really both goals have not been things that were savable by him, and I think that's maybe more of the challenge for a young keeper in that mindset.
Certainly.
You're down 2-1 now, so you don't want to make the mistake. You don't want to be the one put in that position, and that's going to be a hard thing that the Monarchs will have to overcome here late in this first half, moving into the second half. 43rd minute. Ball wide. Martinez keeps it in with his head. He settles Schmidt in front of him. Bruce also defending. Back to Powder. Monarchs are going to recycle. Salcedo into Brown.
This is good football for the Monarchs. This is kind of what we saw from New Mexico United earlier in the game when they were dominant.
Good job there by Salcedo to apply pressure. Called for a foul, but not a bad place to give up a foul if you're going to give up a foul. It's definitely riding him all the way to that midfield stripe. Tweet there from Alex Maurer. And we are indeed here for RSL, watching this game on TV and watching MLS Next Cup game on the laptop. Illich. Wide, Suggs making a nice bending run, trying to get around Morgan. Rivas decided to hold. Tenari looking forward. Bruce making a run behind the back line. Tenari still with it at his feet. Over to Rivas. Inside Illich. Heavy touch from him. Maybe not looking completely comfortable after getting stepped on. Powder gets it wide to Martinez. Martinez picks up his head, looking forward to Briggs. Briggs defended by Ryden. And Ryden has been in perfect position all night long. Fun to see the former Monarchs center back
Well,
having success in his career.
Yeah, Ryden's a talented player, but Briggs has to do better at the same time.
Header there, wide by Rivas. as he
Briggs
rose high.
Briggs is in the team for really two reasons. One, to be a threat in the air when the ball comes in from the wide, and two, you know, when the ball's coming at his feet, you know, and he's got his back to the goal, he needs to be strong enough and good enough to take a touch and then dish it off to some of the more skillful players running by him, and he's yet to show really either of those attributes so far tonight. He hasn't had really any opportunities in the air, I guess you could argue. He's had the ball played to his feet a few times, and he hasn't done much with it. Noah Powder's been the catalyst for me from a Monarch standpoint. He's been the one that, after a slow start, slow opening 15 minutes, has found the football, and he's attacked. He hasn't looked scared. He's playing at right back, but he's traditionally a left back. Find himself in the heart of the midfield, making long and dangerous runs as the fourth official holds up 2 minutes stoppage time.
Stoppage time is brought to you by America First Credit Union. America First Credit Union has financial products and services you need to take care of yourself, your family, and your business. Tom, I mentioned Briggs capable of scoring goals. He scored 27 goals in 53 appearances in college for the Panthers of Georgia State University.
I believe it. I certainly believe it. This is professional football now. This isn't at the college ranks. You gotta have better touch than what he's shown.
My college stats don't matter either.
Oh, great ball.
Ball trickling towards Beavers. Beavers collects. I don't have very many goals or assists to my name, but a lot of minutes played. But that doesn't mean much to you, so we're good. I'm just kidding. Powder wide. Monarchs have life now that they've scored 2-1 here. Late in the first half as we're unofficially through one of the two. Wonderful if they could get another opportunity here. Ryden and Morgan collide. As Ryden's still down.
Well, Ashton Morgan certainly concerned for Ryden, who I think will be okay. It was just it's an awkward.
Troy Lassane pretty frustrated as we'll get a replay look at this.
I don't think it's a foul, because if you look at Morgan, he's got all his eyes are on the football, and Ryden has the same thing, and they just clattered into one another. And to be quite fair, it was.
Both have a right to be going for that ball.
Both have every right to go for the football, and it's not like Ryden landed on his head. He landed, you know, and is able to brace himself. This is a physical game, after all. I think there's nothing wrong with the challenge, personally. Good contest from both players, and Ryden will be okay.
Ryden's one of those Monarchs fan favorites. It's not someone anybody wants to see down at this moment. I know a lot of people loved having him and his wife here in this community. Brown, beautiful defensive work there. Monarchs teamed up Portillo and Brown to provide some pressure. Ref checks his watch, puts the whistle to the mouth. And we'll blow the whistle here. 45 minutes of soccer played at Zions Bank Stadium. 2-1 New Mexico United, as New Mexico United came out in the 15th, scored their first, got their second in the 26th. Monarchs pulled one back in the 38th. As we're going to take our first break, and we'll be back with first half thoughts and statistics after this.
You are the sunrise waking my day. You are the moonlight shining my way. This is where I call home.
It's never been more true. We take care of Utah like Utahns take care of each other. University of Utah Health.
When you're a member of America First Credit Union, the only goal that matters to us is the one that matters to you. And whether you're focused on the journey or the destination, we'll be right there beside you to help make sure you can enjoy every mile and every moment. Because the only goal that matters to us is yours. Truly.
At 34, he's just past his prime.
The best line of defense against the virus is getting the vaccine.
Take your shot.
Tomar la vacuna.
Let's get back in the game.
Volvamos al juego.
Get vaccinated.
Vacúnate.
For yourself.
For your teammates.
Por tu compañero de equipo.
For your family.
And for the community.
For information on getting vaccinated, visit coronavirus.utah.gov.
Zion is much more than just these cliffs. We're all a part of this. When I'm painting, my goal is ultimately to inspire people through that artwork to go out and find their own personal experience. I think that only when we personally connect with a place do we truly gain the power to protect it. And that's the whole point, is to protect this place, not just for us here today, but for future generations forever.
Atlas Disposal is dedicated to preserving the spaces we share.
We also understand the importance of sustaining our resources.
We're proud to bring our operations to Utah with technologies like zero-emission vehicles and a new recycling system coming to Rio Tinto Stadium starting in 2020.
Together, we can keep Utah beautiful and sustainable for generations to come.
I wasn't going to let anything get in my way of achieving my goals, which were to be a professional soccer player. So the first opportunity I got at preseason, when a teammate asked like if I was dating a girl or something, I just came out to a bunch of my teammates at dinner and said, no, I'm gay. All I needed to do was that one time, because then I didn't lie. Your sexuality should never limit you from playing the sport you love.
San Diego. Oh, music in. McCrary brings it down to his chest. Jordan McCrary has tied it here. Takes a hard strike, saved by Romel Gomez.
Tom, back live here at Zions Bank Stadium. Monarchs trail 2-1, and really felt like a half that maybe was going a little bit south for the Monarchs real quick, able to pull one back. But it doesn't look like a terrible situation right at this moment.
No, I think 2-1's a pretty honest score line at halftime. I think the Monarchs got off to the better start, and then over time, New Mexico United were able to find a way like they so often have done, and the Monarchs kind of clawed one back there late, and it's 2-1. I think it's quite fun.
Let's check out some news from around the USL, starting with the USL Team of the Week. As you can see that on your screen, Haji Berry, Player of the Week, 2 goals in two-goal performance on Tuesday nights, and also the first to reach 10 goals in the USL Championship this season, and a few other guys we've seen as of recent, and a few players we will see coming up, including Haji Berry and Sebastian Anderson on July 4th in Colorado. Let's check out the news and notes around the league. Berry's hot streak continued like we talked about. First player to reach that 10 goals, and that mark is very big for a player in the USL Championship. San Diego Loyal and Jack Blake, former Monarch captain, continue their 6-game unbeaten streak, beating Las Vegas Lights 2-1. And 27-3 shot advantage, and lost 2-1, and are winless in the last 3.
That's unbelievable, isn't it?
Pretty incredible there.
27-3. And they lose.
Let's check out the scores going on around the league, including some matches happening as we speak. San Diego Loyal 1-0 victory over Oakland Roots, and a lot of issues there up in Oakland's. They've not had the season they wanted. Loudoun United with a 2-1 victory over Pittsburgh. And another Mountain Division game with Rio Grande Valley taking the 3-2 victory over an El Paso team that the Monarchs will see here coming up back in Salt Lake in a week and a half or so. Birmingham Legion and Atlanta United tied at 1-1 as we're going to take another break. We'll be back with first half highlights and thoughts on the second half coming up next. Tonight's halftime show is presented by America First Credit Union. America First is proud to be the official credit union of the Real Monarchs. Whatever you need for whatever matters most, America First is here to help. By MarketStar, explore something more at MarketStar. Visit marketstar.com for careers. And by Les Olson and Sharp, dominate the pitch with an agile workflow. Equip your Sharp office with brilliant professional monitors, cutting-edge collaboration boards, and state-of-the-art multi-function copiers with Alexa-enabled voice commands. Sharp and the Les Olson Company, official office technology partners of the Real Monarchs.
It's never been more true. We take care of Utah like Utahns take care of each other. University of Utah Health.
Anderson Julio. Ball is out, it's in the back of the net.
What a debut for Anderson Julio.
Frylock heads it for Rabin. Golazo! Rubio Rabin!
Atlas Disposal is dedicated to preserving the spaces we share.
We also understand the importance of sustaining our resources.
We're proud to bring our operations to Utah with technologies like zero-emission vehicles and a new recycling system coming to Rio Tinto Stadium starting in 2020.
Together, we can keep Utah beautiful and sustainable for generations to come.
As we're back here at Zions Bank Stadium, checking out some fans, getting some of their moves on. I'm not sure that we can call those anything special, but some moves on. Let's check out some highlights from the first half, including all 3 goals we saw. As you can see, an early opportunity by Sam Brown, and maybe if he gets a little bit more of that one, keeps it down, that one finds the upper cobwebs where the spiders live. And there's the goal by Bruce from distance. And you got to love him picking up his head and putting it by Beavers if you're a New Mexico fan. Here's the other opportunity, and here shortly we'll see the goal by Tenari.
That's such a devilish ball into Bruce, who probably should have entered halftime with a brace. He's played well, has Bruce. Suggs nearly getting on the end, but a nice challenge there. Lunging tackle from Ashton Morgan. And then this is the second. What a strike it is. I mean, I don't mean to be overly critical, but Sam Brown can't be getting turned that easily. And then just watch Ashton Morgan. I mean, that is just so... I don't want to say the L word, but it's so lazy. And what a strike this is. Pressure coming from Rivas behind. Goalkeeper probably has to do better. He's so distraught and devastated with himself. But it's a really good strike. It knuckles, it dips, it's hard to stop. And the 28-year-old German in goal makes an absolute mess of it. Ah, the fans. We love to see all fans. At Zions Bank Stadium, a lot of academy kids here. Parents, family members of a lot of these younger players. watching their beloved play at the professional level.
Tom, we haven't had a chance to mention this as of yet, but just got confirmation RSL U15s will be playing in the MLS Next Cup final as they take down the Earthquake 3-0.
Very nice.
And Axel, like we mentioned, was sitting on a goal earlier, finished with a goal and an assist to his name. That's Axel Kai. As also Fernando Delgado in the net, got the clean sheet, been on the Monarchs bench and down with the U15s, and that's why Mirza tonight, the assistant coach for the Monarchs, is the backup keeper to Beavers tonight instead of Fernando Delgado, as there's been a lot of injuries in the Monarchs goalkeeping union. Tom,
it's going to be a fun second half, isn't it,
I was just about to say, what do we expect from this second half? I mean, Troy Lesesne obviously made some adjustments to what he saw in the first 10 minutes. Those adjustments provided 2 goals and 2 wonderful strikes from New Mexico United. What do they need to do to walk out and see the 3 points tonight?
I think Troy Lesesne's probably very upset in the manner in which they conceded late in that second half. Look, it's a tremendous strike from Justin Portillo, but it's probably an opportunity that shouldn't have ended up in the back of the net. And so I think at the same time, Troy Lesesne, New Mexico United, you're going to be at the forefront. You're going to try and be assertive and play as aggressive as you can. They were the better team. New Mexico United was the better team in that first half. They had longer stretches where they looked like the more dominant unit. And from a Real Monarchs standpoint, you've got to keep trusting what's worked for you in the past. I think Douglas Martinez, Milan Iloski, Wehan, Justin Portillo, Noah Powder. You've got to find the feet of your playmakers. Noah Powder, by the way, 26, playing right back. He's the one for me that's really, he's on screen right now. He's the one for me that kind of kick-started that revival from the Monarchs in the first half. He was elusive, he found the football, and he wasn't afraid to try and break the lines with his legs and get centrally and open up spaces and pockets for his teammates. So it's a big second half for both teams. Obviously the advantage right now on the scoreboard in favor of New Mexico United, but don't count out this Monarchs unit. It's a talented team. A lot of players from the Monarchs that are coming down from the first team level. They're not going to go down easily.
Possession 54-46 in favor of New Mexico United. Shots with the advantage to New Mexico United, 7 to the Monarchs 5. 2 on goal for New Mexico United, 1 on goal for the Monarchs. And Tom, the fun part is talking about some of that talent coming up. We've talked about the youth here, but that U15 side, and we have to just say, it's incredible. I mean, talking to a few people right now, getting texts from sideline reporter Samantha Yarrick, who was down with them in Texas, checking out the game, and she's just said Fernando Delgado was incredible. And it's fun to hear that there's guys that are even below Gavin Beavers that are making their way up the ladder for this side. And a lot of fans clamored over the years, where was the development? Where was the growth? And I know I've said it time and time again, the Monarchs have had a lot of players that have played at the Monarchs level and also played with the first team. And you're seeing some of those guys that are making their way back down tonight for a game, but you're going to continue to see some of those getting chances here in the future as we're underway here in the second half. But there's guys out here that are getting an opportunity. We've got the front office of Real Salt Lake a couple booths over from us checking out the game, as there's a shots collected easily by Beavers. But checking out the match tonight, we're going to try to get in general manager
Elliot Fall.
Elliot Fall. The name just went away from me. I was looking at him, but we're going to try to get him here in the booth here in the next few minutes to talk about some of what's continuing to go on here with the RSL organization as a whole.
Yeah, but this Monarchs team is a part of all of that, isn't it? A lot of these players are either coming down from the first team to try and find some form and squeak their way into first team minutes, and the rest of the crop of players are younger guys that are looking to maybe develop at a faster pace and see first team minutes earlier.
Portillo forward to Brown. Brown picks up his head, trying to find it wide to Martinez. Martinez back to his original position on that right side.
Keep going, man!
Kind of interesting to see the switch and then the switch back.
Well, he's done very well there, hasn't he? He was 3-on-1 in the end. He tried to make a move, didn't have anything. Paused, hesitated, looked for help. Help wasn't there. Sucked in a foul out of nothing. Now they can put in a delivery, and this is where I would imagine Hamilton Alave had some words to his players at halftime. They've got Briggs up front. Briggs is arguably the biggest player on the entire pitch. Get the ball into the air and let the big fella do some work. Throw his weight around and see if he can get onto the end of it.
Portillo and Powder will stand over the free kick. Two-man wall. Line held at the 18. Portillo will swing it in, looking towards. Just over the head of Milan. Brown still on it. Brown thinks about playing it in. Gets taken down by Suggs. Good little hesitation, step over. As he goes down, then holding his left knee. Looks like just adjusting the sock. Another free kick coming for the Monarchs. Kind of the same distance.
Yep.
A slightly different angle as he got away from Suggs. Suggs knew what he did there.
Yeah, it's a foul.
Come on, Rush! Come on! Sergio, back up! Sergio, back up! Sergio! Sergio! Back up! 3 yards, 3 yards!
Briggs at the back post, Saucedo looking centrally. Douglas Martinez in there next to Saucedo, and Adams, the centre back, at the near post.
Portillo only standing over it this time. Portillo swings in, looking towards Briggs, just over his head. And it looked like it touched a New Mexico player last, and it'll be a corner kick coming for the Monarchs, the first of the second half.
That's more like it if you're a Monarchs fan. It's a dangerous delivery into Briggs there, who came so close to getting on the end of that. Another tremendous delivery, might we add, by Justin Portillo. He's really showing his class over the football this evening.
49th minute, 2-1 New Mexico United. Service coming from Portillo. Portillo spends it in, can't beat Bruce on the near post. Illich plays it high. Tenari providing chase. Adams forward. Could settle in a ball there. Maybe miss-hit as Sandoval was making a run right up the guts. Martinez goes towards the touchline. Adam LaCorda picks up his head. Looking to try to win that one. Plays it into Briggs. Briggs hold-up play. Briggs trying to keep it. Over to Powder. Powder goes right at a couple players. Tries to get around. Little tiki-taka. Gets dispossessed. United did everything they needed to defensively. Ryden, big ball forward. Looks like he was kind of just trying to clear the line, but not a bad ball forward from Kalen Ryden. Beavers, ball got a little away from him, trying to get it to Morgan.
It's again Beavers when the ball's at his feet, just does not look comfortable.
Bruce. Forward to Guzman. Guzman clips it in. And Salcedo using his height as an advantage. Weehan. A little hold-up play from him. Finds Portillo. Portillo. Oh, trying to find Milan out wide. Ball's knocked away. Guzman. Monarchs have settled in and kind of found the flow of this game in the last little bit, Tom. So we're going to bring on RSL General Manager Elliot Fall. Elliot, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. How are you guys doing?
Good. It's always fun to have a guy of your stature in the booth talking a little soccer, talking about what's going on, and we're really seeing some fun things happening here with the likes of Gavin Beavers getting his second professional start at the age of 16. We're seeing the U15s going on to the final to play Philadelphia Union. And a lot going on as Powder goes ahead. It's a wide to Weehan. Milan into Weehan. Tate's not sure where he is, but ball falls to the keeper. But I was mentioning a lot going on. How do you guys keep straight everything that's going on? You've got young players playing in tournaments. You've got guys coming back from Texas to get their first professional start. Everybody is everywhere. How do you keep this all together?
Yeah, I mean, it's wild. I mean, you know, we have, as you said, I mean, especially at these levels, it's about development. It's about getting experience for these young kids and getting experience for for the guys, for their futures. Hopefully their futures down the road at Rio Tinto in a first-team kit. So it is certainly tough at times to keep it all straight, but we have a lot of staff that are keeping the trains moving and making sure everything works smoothly, and yeah, it's all good.
Elliot, I know the philosophy has changed slightly with the way the Monarchs have been this season. A lot of youth, we've talked about it, 5 players under the age of 17, 5 16-year-olds getting time with the Monarchs, and some getting experience like their first professional start a couple games ago, some now in Orozco down with the Mexican national team are training for the Gold Cup. What does that do to you guys and what you're seeing for the future of this club?
Yeah, look, it's in a lot of ways, it's a lot of validation of kind of the efforts that have been put in over the last several years. I mean, it's not just a flip the switch and you're ready to go younger and ready to give these kids the opportunities. I mean, you have to develop them. And a lot of that credit goes to our entire academy staff, Arnold Riesenberg and his staff, and then Jamison Olave and his staff have done just an unbelievable job. And that's not to mention, Freddie and his guys put a lot of work into it as well. So it's a collective team effort. It is, again, it's all about development. It's all about getting those opportunities, and it's really fun to start to see it pay off. That said, it's also a really fine balance, because it's important that we put a competitive team on the field, and it's important that this group be able to compete week in and week out, because it doesn't do anybody any good to come out and not perform.
Portillo with Martinez wide. Martinez into Briggs. Briggs! His first professional goal! Levels things here in the 54th minute.
Speaking of Briggs, Elliot.
Yeah.
Well, so he's a big fella.
He is big.
We spoke to Tony Beltran earlier in the year, and he talked about, how I guess the philosophy here at the Monarchs level is to develop young players, and if we can do that in the same manner that the first team's playing with, same style of play and whatnot, then that goes hand in hand, and it kind of further develops everything. But Briggsy's kind of a unique player in the sense that when you look at the strikers for Real Salt Lake, Bobby Wood and Rubio Rabin probably aren't all that similar to Briggsy. What sort of manner how do you throw him? And Mata on the bench is another player. A number of guys that don't quite fit the mold. That doesn't matter a ton.
Yeah, look, it's a really good question, and I would say it's another piece of the balancing act. It's not just about finding cookie cutter pieces that fit exactly what we do at the first team level. It is about identifying traits and identifying abilities that will translate at that level and will translate with what we're trying to do at that level. Honestly, if there are players, we saw it with Rubio Rabin last year. Rubio Rabin played I believe it was 4 USL games and scored 7 goals. So, if you have a player playing at that level or succeeding at that level here in USL, then we're going to have moved them up to the first team, and they're going to be playing minutes with the first team anyway. So, it is about identifying traits and again developing those traits. And look, you said it. It's about developing young players, but it's not just young players. It's about developing players, period.
Well, I was going to say, if you look at the lineup at the start of the season, now you look at the lineup to where we are tonight, it's quite drastically different. Like Noah Powder, Douglas Martinez, Justin Portillo, Ashton Morgan. I mean, guys that have played significant minutes at the first team level are now playing at the Monarchs level, and they're kind of in amongst a number of guys that are a lot younger than them that you guys are trying to develop at a faster pace. Is that, you kind of answered this earlier, but is that part of it too? Is get a bunch of young guys to play alongside other players that have proven themselves at the first team level to try and further develop them faster? Because I think what we saw at the start of the year was just so many losses kind of catapulted. Development maybe wasn't quite as good as it needed to be.
Yeah, look, there were some tough results, certainly. Certainly some tough results to start the season. I think in some respects they were a bit unfortunate. Also, there were some real lessons for some of the young guys.
Free kick coming. Milan puts it up and over on goal. My goodness. Beautiful save there. And he almost had his second free kick goal of the season here in the 57th. As Monarchs are going to have a corner kick. Sorry to cut you off, Elliot,
Milan
but my goodness.
trying to reenact a couple weeks ago, huh?
Putting it where the spiders live.
Yeah. So, yes, look, going back to some of the results, they haven't always been ideal. But, again, we've started Hasiel Orozco in a number of games, and he's a 16-year-old center back. And, I mean, he's been fantastic. He's done unbelievably well. But there are going to be growing pains and learning pains for young players as well. So, that's where the balance comes in. You've got to balance that out with players that can, to your point, understand what it means to play at a professional level and to succeed at a professional level, and to be next to those guys and show them what it takes.
Corner kick coming here from Noah Powder. He'll swing it in with the left foot here from the near side in the 58th. 2-2 here at Zions Bank Stadium. Monarchs have come back from 2-0 to level things up. Ball over the head, but we've got bodies down inside the box. Elliot, thanks for taking the time. It's been fun to discuss these things with you. It's fun to hear the insights and talk about the success that the organization's having as a whole. It's something that I don't think fans always get to see when they tune into one piece. Yep. But tonight you're seeing maybe a culmination of some of that at all levels, at the 15s, yep, here with the Monarchs and the first teams having some of their success that they've had at times, maybe a little bit not as much as people want at the moment, but we'll get to that point. So thanks for joining us. You're welcome as always here in the booth, so thanks for popping in tonight.
No, thank you guys for having me, and we'll do it again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks. Visit RSL.com and get your summer plans set with an RSL partial ticket package. RSL.com for a partial ticket package. Tom didn't get to mention it, but an assist will go to Douglas Martinez on the Briggs goal in the 54th.
We probably need Elliot to come in a bit more often. He comes in for 3 minutes and
preaches some
Briggsy
knowledge.
Just pops right up, doesn't he? And look, I was critical of him in the first half as we see Illich come off. Brown makes way for him. Illich makes way for Brown, I should say. I criticised Briggsy. I thought he was poor in that first half. He didn't offer a ton, and the ball played to his feet with the back to the goal. He often turned it over. On that occasion, he didn't. It was
Brown.
Herb bit of play there.
Touches into Rivas and Tanari. Tanari picks up his head. Wide. Ball inside the area. Brown getting early touches, and Beavers does a good job with his feet with more of a hockey-esque save there.
Oh, it's tremendous from the Kiwi centre-back Adams.
Ball hangs! And he pushes it up and over, and Sandoval almost put his name on the score sheets. But Beavers was up to the task, pushes it up and over the bar, as Beavers was called on twice in succession there. Our center referee having a conversation with Noah Powder, giving him a little bit of business.
Carl Adams as well as...
Like some frustration there as a player went down in the box, and maybe a little lip service to the referee.
Hamilton Alave speaking to the fourth official. A lot of banter going on at the minute, and I understand why the Monarchs were frustrated. Beaver made a tremendous save, but there was a lot of contact in front of him. Adams kind of clattered into Beavers, so probably unfortunate not to get a foul there.
United Soccer League, all 31 championship clubs and its players stand together in support of diversity, inclusivity, equality, and compassion. For more information on the USL's commitment to change through the United Against Racism campaign, visit uslsoccer.com. Tom, Monarchs were about to make 2 substitutions. I think handed the card to the fourth official right before the Briggs goal, and it got pulled back.
Well, that tells me. I don't know what it tells you. It tells me Briggsy was coming off. Briggsy was coming off, and then he ends up putting it away, and they thought, you know what, number 42 could probably spend a few more minutes out there now that his confidence has skyrocketed.
Yep. We talked about scored goals in college, so we'll see if that's the confidence that he needs to continue his scoring streak as Guzman plays it wide.
I mean, that's his bread and butter, though, Briggsy.
Oh, good ball there into Bruce. Bruce defended by Adams inside the 18. Bruce goes towards the touchline, gets away from him.
Oh, for how well Bruce has played, that was dismal.
He has been a guy that has played with a lot of confidence tonight, Tom.
He's been really, really good, and again he got himself into a dangerous position, but that was pretty poor.
Ball played in by Martinez, not finding Milan where it needed to be. Weehan was making a streak up the far side, with clothes on, but a streak up the far side. I didn't say streaking. Might have been Tom's pastime, but
I think anybody wants to see that anymore. I think those days have passed.
They never wanted to see it, Tom.
I think maybe back in the day, you never know.
All punters' lives matter, right?
There you go.
Guzman down, slow to get up. He's still down. Looks like he's gonna get some help from the bench. Martinez a little frustrated with that call. Guzman's gonna flip over. I'm wondering if we're gonna get a trainer coming on. Select, since 1947, Select has been the leader in soccer ball quality and innovation. Select is the official ball supplier of the USL Championship and many of the elite leagues throughout Europe. For the latest Select products and special offers, please visit selectsportamerica.com. That's selectsportamerica.com.
Well, we're entering a very critical point in the match. We'll take another look at the challenge. There's some back and forth again going on between Guzman and Douglas Martinez. It's kind of hard to see exactly what occurred, but there's certain frustration. I think the Monarchs are upset that the throw was given to New Mexico in the end, because it looked like Guzman touched the ball last.
Guzman and Martinez still jawing at each other. Bruce with the throw in just in front of the Monarchs bench. They're still jawing with each other. Pretty funny. Adams wins the header. Settled nicely by Portillo over to Brown. Brown with a little heavy touch. Morgan spreading wide for him.
Well, the adrenaline is certainly pumping through the veins of Douglas Martinez. He is roaring around this right-hand flank.
Ball's a little too heavy. Martinez was wide open here on the near side, but would have been a tough ball to come completely across.
He tried on a number of occasions to have the ball played to him. Him and Guzman been going back and forth, and then Martinez and Sandoval started to exchange elbows to the chest. It's a very important period in this game, in my opinion. We've got about half an hour to play if you include extra time, and the Monarchs are down one goal. Oh, sorry, it's all square after Briggsy equalized. I do apologize. I think there is a winner here. I don't think this ends 2-2. I think there is going to be at least one more goal scored. And at this point, you have to assume the Monarchs are going to find that final go-ahead goal. As New Mexico United just don't look like the same team they were in the first half. They've had a hard time in this second half. Great challenge there from Justin Portillo.
Portillo out wide to Morgan. Morgan looking forward, and Weehan been active. Weehan cuts in, sees nothing, pulls it back. Ball played inside and headed away. Powder, he was going to take a crack from distance! My goodness! My, oh my! What a goal from Noah Powder! That was a thing of beauty.
Well, I mocked him in the first half for taking a crack at goal from similar distance, and boy was I wrong. What a goal that is from the left-footed maestro, Noah Powder. Trinidad and Tobago's finest.
Tom, I don't even know if I have words
Trinidad
after
and
seeing
Tobago,
that. As you can
I
see
should
him
say.
set up, puts the left foot, and that thing was bending away.
That is extraordinary. That's a worldie if we've ever seen one, and it didn't have a ton of pace on it.
You know,
it had a lot of movement though. And the poor goalkeeper for New Mexico United,
you know, Tom,
Weigel, should have done better.
But I'm telling you, if I would have said earlier tonight, after the Tenari goal, that was the goal of the night, the goal of the week, possibly, I think that got upstaged.
All 5 goals have been rather superb if you go back to think about it. Briggsy's goal to equalise for the Monarchs was probably the... Oh my word, everybody's taken pops at this point, and they're not far off.
Almost another cracking goal, or cracking opportunity at goal here in the 67th. 67 minutes in, and we are 3-2 Monarchs.
I told you there was going to be another one in it. It just felt like this one wasn't going to end 2-2, but I can't say I saw that coming.
Monarchs going to make their first substitution here coming up momentarily. Looks like it's going to be Malik Johnson. Just playing with a lot of confidence right now. Brown, good ball. Into Sandoval. Brown does a good job to get the return pass. Bouncing through. Salcedo will clear. One of those weird games, Tom, not expecting what we've seen so far as Brown's going to go down. Sandoval into him. Sandoval complaining that Salcedo was in his back. As we're going to see Weehan come off the pitch. And no fault to Weehan as he's ran up and down that pitch on that far side all night long.
Weehan's played well. I thought he got off to a tremendous start. Look, he slowed down as the game's progressed, but he's a tidy old player, Weehan. He's been good. He's been dangerous, lively, up and down the left. He's cutting in, creating opportunities for his teammates. He has a future, a bright one at that, here at the Monarchs. Malik Johnson's been good as well this season. The speedster.
Martinez, he'll go forward. Numbers, a couple players in the box. As Milan goes forward and he kind of awkwardly comes down, he's going to be frustrated. That ball leaks through the backside. Malik Johnson's right on it, but give credit to New Mexico United covering up.
Douglas Martinez, he's been really good up that right flank, and it's a great ball in. He just needed to try and catch the toe of Milan Oloski, and that one's firing in.
Handball there on Tenari as that pops up on. And Tom, one thing I hadn't thought about is maybe you're seeing something trying to be maybe a little reinventive with Martinez as the Monarchs maybe getting instruction from the first team. Not quite sure, but trying to play him on the wing, see if he can maybe be an added benefit as a winger instead of an out-and-out striker for the Real Salt Lake, because you've got Bobby Wood and Rubio Rabin playing with a lot of skill and confidence right now.
Yeah, no, I think that's certainly acceptable to think.
Morgan pushing back. Morgan to Tenari. Tenari puts it up and over. I think that might have gone for a field goal.
You look at Douglas Martinez right in the striking position quickly at Real Salt Lake. Got Bobby Wood, Rubio Rubin, and then Douglas Martinez third in line. But there's certainly more space on the wing. More potential for him to see minutes of the first team. And to be quite fair, I think what he's shown tonight's been really good. I think he's been really solid. He's been elusive. He's been creative. He's had energy. He's defended when he's needed to. He's been solid, has Douglas Martinez. There might be a future there for him. Good point from United.
4th of July weekend starts with a bang with the USL on ESPN continues Saturday, July 3rd. It's a Golden State clash when San Diego Loyal play host to Sacramento Republic. Saturday, July 3rd at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. That's former Monarchs head coach Mark Briggs, who surely is tuning in tonight like he is always, and then former Real Monarchs captain Jack Blake.
You saw a look at the recent foul call on Douglas Martinez and wasn't happy with it. I kind of understand why. He's been really good, has Douglas Martinez.
Up the right flank. Martinez picks up his head, no one home, looking back to Powder.
You want another crack, Noah? No. This time Devin Sandoval's come back.
In behind, nice beautiful ball. Flag goes up. As the Monarchs going to be frustrated, Milan pings the woodwork. The Monarchs fans starting to get a little more into this game here in the last few.
This is one of the first games this season where home fans here at Zions Bank Stadium have seen a Monarchs team that look really dangerous on almost every attack. There's a ton of movement. It's not static. It's lively. There's a lot going on in the attacking third for the Monarchs, and it's really an exciting brand to watch. Douglas Martinez up the right-hand side with Noah Powder playing behind him have been remarkable. As New Mexico United make a handful of change. That's Martinez. He's quite the player.
Martinez and Azira coming on, and Bruce and Guzman leaving the pitch. And Bruce has been excellent. Hate to see him go. if you're a New Mexico fan, and what he's brought to the match tonight. Just wondered if the Monarchs have exposed some tired legs and the effort that was put in the first half by New Mexico United. Back to Ryden.
And the Monarchs are going to be more than content allowing New Mexico United to kick the football around. They don't need to waste a ton of energy. Briggsy up front, Milan Orlowski, Douglas Martinez, Malik Johnson. They need to preserve energy. Be smart with when they decide to use the sprint button. And right now would be a good time. Catch them on the counter.
Playing old FIFA, Tom. Monarchs players stretching in the corner. Doesn't look like there's any immediate subs coming into this match. You have to wonder if there will be a change maybe for Briggs, who's starting to slow down a little bit. Yet to have an opportunity to go this deep into a match, especially being since his first professional start. Martinez goes down holding his head. Feels like he got an elbow from Martinez up high. So he's going to get some assistance from the trainers.
It looked like, yeah, just maybe an elbow. The elbow was tucked away into Martinez. So I think certainly safe to say accidental. Maybe part of his shoulder as well, caught contact with the back of Martinez's head. Just something that stings for a split second.
I do have to chuckle, Tom.
What are you laughing at?
Slice King.
Oh, you're on Twitter again, are you?
Sent us a note saying, I threw out my shoulder celebrating that goal. The movement on the ball was amazing. So got a couple gimp shoulders out there because of some goals in this game. Appreciate the tweets. If you want to get any of your thoughts into the match with us, you can tweet at us at Tom Can't Hack It or at Landon Southwick, or use the hashtag SLCVNM. Free kick coming for the Monarchs. You know, there's a couple watch parties going on down in New Mexico, and some fun things. Have a good buddy down there, Chris, with Black Diamonds down at Hollow Spirits Distillery tonight, tuning into the match.
You men and women be safe down there, please.
The Curse at Tin Cup Alley. A watch party for both those supporters groups, and some phenomenal supporter groups. Monarchs with their supporter group behind the goal tonight, as you're catching some of them. Portillo's going to take it from distance. Portillo puts it on frame, and it was bending and moving down as the keeper again had to push it away. Monarchs testing this keeper in his professional debut.
Well, welcome to the pros, Philip Beigel. It's been a night that he will certainly never forget. Much can be said for Gavin Beavers as well, the 16-year-old counterpart in goal for the Monarchs. He's
looking for his first professional win.
Yeah, that's exciting. I thought Beavers, for what it's worth, had an okay first half. He probably had a few mistakes that he's going to rue and maybe lose some sleep over this evening, but I think he's certainly played a very good second half, and whatever instruction he was giving at halftime has worked, and he's looked far more confident. For me, still, it's the sign of a good keeper is one. Nick Romando, great example. You know, when the ball's played at his feet, he just looks like another player out there. He doesn't look overly concerned or worried. He's not panicking. Beavers is still trying to figure that out.
Tom, one little quick correction. Tin Can Alley. My bad. Reading a little bit wrong on my ends. Tin Can Alley, the Curse. And we met some of them before or after the last game when they were here. Phenomenal fans. Phenomenal support that they bring to the club. Big shout out to you guys and all that you do to bring the culture of New Mexico United. I'm nothing but impressed every time I see a game down there in New Mexico. Watching on TV, the atmosphere is incredible. So, world-class organization. A world-class supporters group down there. know we've talked about it a little bit, but talking about Beavers, his history is quite interesting. Having had a chance, you and I, before the game today, to talk to his dad, Matt, and have a conversation about what got into him getting here with the club. And I talked a little bit about this in the last game, but reiterating some of that, had a couple opportunities with a handful of clubs, including Sporting Kansas City. Ball forward, and Beavers does a good job to come up big, showing he's capable of making a decision. Gets out quickly, uses all 6'4" of his frame to keep Brown out.
Well, what you love about this is once the decision was made, he was making a play on the ball. You know, a lot of keepers there probably would have come out and then tried to go back in towards the net. He wasn't. He was coming off his line with aggression
and kept his hands away from the player. Got ball as Beavers comes up big to keep this game 3-2 Monarchs. Corner kick coming. Ball played inside the box. Headed away by Briggs. Couple guys down inside the box, Suggs and Adams. But as you're mentioning, talking to his dad, learning a little bit about the history, was courted by Sporting Kansas City. The Galaxy ended up with the Monarchs because of the facilities and what the organization had to bring, including the assistant coach Mirza, who's been a big influence in his life. But when you learn about his background, as Tanari's going to take a crack from distance, puts it up and over, learning about his history, his dad was a soccer player, played at University of Portland, and interestingly enough, was roommates of Casey Keller.
What are the odds?
Kind of crazy. U.S. men's national team keeper. Spent time there with him, transferred after that. But the story goes, hadn't talked in some time, reached out to him, who set him up with his mentor down in Las Vegas. That's Paul Barron, lives in Las Vegas. Helped Gavin get a tryout and put him in this situation, and really has provided him a big opportunity. And Paul Barron, a guy that played for Millwall and had some success. Now he's in his mid-60s, but pretty incredible story all the way around for Gavin Beavers, and kind of exciting to see him in a situation as we see Briggs doing some of the dirty work here in the last few.
They're the sort of efforts that it takes to win a football game.
And you could see some different lights and energy in this Monarchs team. The guys feel like they can win this game, feel like they can walk away with 3 points, and I don't know that we've seen that much, if at all, this season, that they've been playing with that type of confidence. Beavers will come out of the area, put his foot through it, gets it forward to over Malik Johnson's head, but clears it out of danger.
Again, it's another example of a young player in Beavers making an early decision and sticking to that decision, trusting his instinct. I think it's tremendous. It's incredibly difficult to do. Ashton Morgan makes a nice play. We haven't called his name much in this second half, have we? All the attacking play for the Monarchs has been coming up this right-hand side, and the likes of...
Ball played inside the box, headed by Sandoval, still in. Martinez looked to keep it in. Flag stays down. Martinez back, ball played inside the box, clipped in. And Salcedo clears it, but not completely. Rivas getting it wide to Martinez. Martinez defended by Martinez. One of the Martinez won, and it was Douglas. And he's fouled. All the ensuing play as Rivas knocks him down. Enter the Win the Real Monarchs Text to Win contest. Each home match will give you a keyword to text for your chance to win a pair of tickets to every single Monarchs home match for the following month. Winners are randomly selected at the end of each month. So the more games you watch, the more chances you have to win. Tonight's keyword is Monarchs. Text Monarchs. That's Monarchs to soccer. That's 762237. Text Monarchs to 762237. Message and data rates may apply. For a full set of rules, visit realmonarchs.com/contest-rules. Martinez. And Martinez going to battle. Martinez, Douglas Martinez goes down as Martinez was riding his back.
It's a fun little duo going on here, but boy, I just can't reiterate enough just all of the attack.
Like he got caught by a sniper there in the second half.
But all of the attack from a Monarch standpoint has been coming up this right-hand side. It's almost as if they're forgetting entirely about the left side of the pitch and just feeding Douglas Martinez, who's been really, really solid. He's been really good, and he's had the help of Noah Powder. He's playing it right back this evening. It's been fun to watch.
We just had mention of a fan tweeting that volume may be low on the mics. We'll pass that along to our technical team and maybe try to speak up a little bit. I feel like I've been screaming through your TV screen tonight with all these beautiful finishes. Looks like Troy Lassane's going to make his final substitution of the night. Getting final instruction is Yearwood. As he's going to come on to this match here temporarily in the next few. Or momentarily, not temporarily. He'll stay. Ball sprayed wide. Johnson, nice settle and touch there. Johnson picks up his head. He goes at 2 defenders. Suggs gets back. And Suggs does a good job defensively to get the corner, or the goal kick. Rivas will exit the match, and Yearwood's going to come on. Rivas sprints off. Yearwood's going to come on. We'll see what formation shifts the side makes here in the next few. Brown easily wins the header, tries to play it forward to Johnson. Monarchs just seem to be flying around a little bit more.
Yeah, the Monarchs do look lively. They look dangerous and determined to hold on to this result. I have to admit, New Mexico United being slightly disappointed with their efforts in the second half. They just haven't looked all that threatening like they did in the first half.
Briggs just doesn't look to have the pace he did. Beavers got caught a little bit in no man's land, but he was confident that his head was going to win that ball. Flag up on the far side. And you have to give him credit. I don't think he's been nervous to come into those scenarios.
It's the first time this evening where there's been some hesitancy. But every other decision up until this point, 80 whatever minutes into this contest, he's made a decision, he's let his instinct take over, and he's trusted that, and it's worked out for him. On that occasion, it would have worked out for him either way. There was an offside call that prevailed any attack from New Mexico United, but it was the first bit of hesitancy we've seen from Beavers, who after a somewhat disappointing first half, I think has played a tremendous second half.
Sandoval, maybe a little quieter than he would like. Martinez. And Milan trying to play the odds of the top spinning there.
I think this is the big difference for me in this second half is the energy from a defensive standpoint for the Monarchs has been night and day. I mean, we I spoke about it a number of times in that first half where both goals for Ashton Morgan fouled there. Both goals in the first half, you have to question, what the Monarchs were doing defensively, on both goals. And it was really, really poor. It was disappointing. It's not the caliber of football you expect to see at this level. But the second half, it's been drastically different. They've looked energized, and I think Hammerson Olave and his assistants, whatever was said at halftime, I think we'll see Mata come on here as the final substitution being made for the Monarchs. Whatever was said at halftime worked, Lennon.
Yeah, as Briggs seems to be out of gas, but give him credit for doing what he needed to. Tying things up in the 54th. Ball forward. Adams does a good job. Martinez will track back. Yearwood. Ball forward. Brown. Brown has 2 defenders in front of him. Brown trying to get around a third. Ball pops up. And it'll be a throw-in for United. Ball quickly taken into Azira. Light ball there. Wide to Yearwood. Yearwood's going to swing it in. Adams turns, swivels, and pushes it forward. Monarchs are celebrating Christmas in July as they battle El Paso Locomotive and former Monarch Sebastian Velasquez on July 9th. Take advantage of our family 4-pack, 4 tickets and 4 ornaments for just $36. Call 844-REAL-TIX. That's 4 tickets and 4 ornaments for $36. That's 844-REAL-TIX.
That's a good shift for Briggsy. Got his first start, first professional goal. Leveled things here in the second half before Noah Powder scored. Oh, I mean, potentially goal of the year. Shortly thereafter.
What a strike.
Well-deserved drink of water for our good friend Briggs down there on the sideline. What a strike was that? I mean, we haven't talked about that enough, I don't think.
A lot of people are going to have dreams about that strike. Credit to Douglas Martinez.
He's been so good.
Mata gets a touch. Hits the hand, and it'll be a free kick coming for United. It's wisely going to take their time to set things up.
Well, it's a big 5-odd minutes for Mata, the New Zealand player, coming in for Briggsy. Obviously, Briggsy now, after he scored, probably in favour when it comes to Hamilton Olave. Chris Garcia didn't see any action
Martinez will send it in. Martinez cleared away, but not completely. Still inside the area. Stenari pushed it back in. Milan's going to rise up. He's going to take a bounce. He'll try to get a second header. He was already off to the races, I think. I'm not going to see Garcia.
That's surprising.
He's had some injury concerns as of recent. Monarchs are going to have to defend well here for the final 2 and change plus stoppage. Tenari still moving forward. One of our goal scorers gets it wide to Brown. Brown looking to serve it inside the box. Brown still in the outside the area. Pushed away. Tenari to Yearwood. Yearwood dancing around top of the area. Johnson and Monarchs have to defend if they want to see out the final couple.
Well, against a very good team in New Mexico United, you're always going to have to earn a victory.
Still inside the area. Adams goes down. Looks like he would have caught one into the body. It'll be a foul, and he's going to take his time getting up. Monarch's going to make a final substitution of the Knights. As Dylan's going to come on to the match.
Milan Alosky will make way.
He had himself a night, not on the score sheets, but he did a lot and was very active throughout the night.
Very good. I thought he found dangerous pockets, worked hard on both ends, and
he's going to take his slow jog off here in the 90th minutes.
He's a young player with a bright future, no doubt.
Gets a standing ovation by the crowd. Almost found himself on the score sheet, though, for that free kick. Martinez. Yearwood's going to go forward. Dylan's got fresh legs. Dylan's goes into a challenge. And a good challenge for Dylan. Martinez taken down, and then a foul called. Powder is furious at the AR here on the near side.
Douglas Martinez is just, look, I'll say it. He's the man of the match for me. I know Noah Powder scored the goal, and Noah Powder's played a tremendous game of football himself, but I mean, what Douglas Martinez has showed throughout the course of this fixture has been truly superb and remarkable. He's been the outlet pass on more than one occasion. He's looked lively, he's attacked, he's ran back and helped out defensively. Certainly, look, he's trying to assert some authority and send a message, I imagine, to the first team coaching staff.
Looks like he might be cramping up. His stoppage time is brought to you by America First Credit Union. America First Credit Union has the financial products and services you need to take care of yourself, your family, and your business. It was 3 minutes, but I think because he went down right at that moment, it got changed to 4 minutes. 4 minutes of stoppage here to end this one out here at Zions Bank Stadium. Monarchs' next match on the road on 4th of July against Switchbacks FC. Then back home here on the 9th. Ball swung in just over Mata's head. It'll be a throw-in for the Monarchs. Monarchs going to take their time. No one urgently going over to the ball, and this is how you need to professionally kill off a game, Tom.
Ashton Morgan's done this before. The veteran, former Toronto player. Now been with Real Salt Lake and the Real Monarchs a handful of years.
Johnson goes to the corner. Malik Johnson keep it in the corner. Azira, and then it'll be pushed out, and it'll be a goal kick coming. Quickly taken. Monarchs are trying to get back defensively, putting numbers back behind the ball. Unofficially through 1.5 here of the 4. Monarchs looking for their second home victory of the season. After going down 2-0 in the 26th, the Monarchs proceed to score 3 unanswered, 38th, 54th, and 65th to take the 3-2 lead.
Well, they've got to be careful, did the Monarchs.
Tenari out wide to Yearwood, one of our second half substitutes. Tenari, the goal scorer. Mata's gonna get in his way. Ball swung in, takes a kind of a weird, awkward deflection. And Sandoval got a crack, but Beavers was up to the task. Beaver gets told by the ref to get moving. If you're Beavers, not a bad time to maybe take your first professional yellow.
Yeah, no, just pretend like you've started cramping or something, really, you young man.
Not necessarily in that moment, but something he's capable of doing in a goal kick situation. 93rd. New Mexico United have been a good side, but have not been complete here in the second half and have not looked like that side they were for most of the first half.
No, Devin Sandoval needs to be better. For a player that's played as much as he has, he's a classy player at that too. He's a profound finisher. He's shown that on more than a handful of occasions throughout his career, but I guess the one attribute, the one skill that's let him down over the course of his illustrious professional time has been just that touch. Whoa, what a touch, speaking of which, from Mata. Uh-oh. Here we go, you gotta be careful.
Douglas with the tired legs. Salcedo cuts it off as Suggs was trying to run forward. The captain trying to provide that final spark here. 93 and change. Our 4th official checks his watch. You know there's communication going on in the headset. Might be the last gasp of air coming as Suggs gonna play the ball in. Numbers going forward. United trying to get everybody inside the box. Big throw in, flicked in towards the center of the park, headed away, not completely. Tenari. Portillo takes it off the chest, maybe got it a little higher, and our referee in his eyes judges it to hit Portillo. It'll be interesting to see a replay look at that one. As a free kick coming, dangerous area, maybe 20, 22 out. As New Mexico United might have a chance here late to tie this one up and steal a point late in this match. Martinez and Sandoval will stand over it. Monarchs with a 5-man wall.
Martinez is dangerous from set pieces, and
Martinez, he'll take this free kick. Dying moments here at Zions Bank Stadium. Hits the wall, wall does its job. Second opportunity. Monarchs not clear yet. Ryden plays it in. Johnson heads it away. Our center referee checks his watch. 90 minutes of soccer, and the Monarchs get all 3 points in a come-from-behind victory over New Mexico United. And Gavin Beavers gets his first professional victory. As we'll take a quick break and be back with thoughts and analysis of the Monarchs' 3-2 victory next.
When you're a member at America First Credit Union, there's only one path to happiness, and that's whatever path you choose. So no matter where it may lead you, whatever you need to get there, or how far it may go, we'll do our best to make sure it's clear with the America First Visa credit card, because the only happiness that matters to us is yours, truly.
I remember the first time Taylor brought me to Moab. It was life-changing. I think that switch from caring to loving to respecting is when it makes your heart feel like fire. Exploring with kids is a whole different experience, but the approach is really the same for all of us. It's about being mindful, being aware of what's going to help versus what's going to harm. That's what we really want to teach our kids.
Anderson, Julio. Ball is out, it's in the back of the net.
What a debut for Anderson Julio.
Frylock heads it for Rabin. Golazo! Rubio Rabin!
Atlas Disposal is dedicated to preserving the spaces we share.
We also understand the importance of sustaining our resources.
We're proud to bring our operations to Utah with technologies like zero-emission vehicles and a new recycling system coming to Rio Tinto Stadium starting in 2020.
Together, we can keep Utah beautiful and sustainable for generations to come.
The best line of defense against the virus is getting the vaccine. Take your shot.
Tomar la vacuna.
Let's get back in the game.
Volvamos al juego.
Get vaccinated.
Vacúnate.
For yourself.
For your teammates.
Por tu compañero de equipo.
For your family.
And for the community.
For information on getting vaccinated, visit coronavirus.utah.gov.
Zion is much more than just these cliffs. We're all a part of this. When I'm painting, my goal is ultimately to inspire people through that artwork to go out and find their own personal experience. I think that only when we personally connect with a place do we truly gain the power to protect it. And that's the whole point, is to protect this place, not just for us here today, but for future generations forever.
Tonight's match has been brought to you by Zions Bank. For banking that helps you tackle every financial challenge, Zions Bank is for you. By MarketStar, explore something more at MarketStar. Visit marketstar.com for careers. And by University of Utah Health, the trusted healthcare provider for the RSL family and yours. Visit uofuhealth.org. Liga MX is coming to Utah. Buy your tickets now at rsl.com to see Club America versus Santos Laguna on the 4th of July. Let's check out the upcoming schedule for the Monarchs. As the Monarchs, 4 goals tonight between the two sides were outside the box, but we'll talk about that in a second, Tom. Still kind of interesting to think about. Upcoming, like we mentioned, on the 4th of July, Monarchs are going to be in Colorado Springs checking out the new digs of the Switchbacks FC, 6:30 p.m. kick. Then back home here against El Paso Locomotive, 8 p.m. Sebastian Velasquez just recently signed for them, so it'll be interesting to see him back at home. Then on the road at the Bold on the 18th. Then back home here on the 23rd, the day before Pioneer Day against Las Vegas Lights, 8 p.m. kick. And then on the road in El Paso, 7:30 p.m. kick on the 31st. Tom, what a game. And a game like we haven't seen here at Zions Bank Stadium, maybe in a year and a half. This side had not beaten New Mexico United in a year and a half. 2019 got swept by New United, got beat in June here by United, and tonight's put together what was arguably one of the most complete performances of this side.
No, without question. I thought they got off to a really good start, did the Monarchs, and then New Mexico United got the better of them as the first half went on. They went into the break down 2-1, but were able to claw back, and that Portillo goal, now that we have time to kind of look back on, I mean, that was crucial in the grand scheme of things. And that second half, I don't know what was said at halftime. I'd love to know. I'd love to have been a fly on the wall there, because whatever was said really had an impact in the second half. It was one-way traffic. Douglas Martinez, for me, man of the match. Despite the know about a goal, I know it was superb. Could well win goal of the year. Douglas Martinez, for me, he was the catalyst. He was the guy that really they looked at, they went to, and he attacked. He was aggressive. He defended. He did everything, did Douglas
And
Martinez
out on the wing.
tonight.
And was the assist on the Briggs goal, so give him some credit there with the assist. But that Noah Powder goal, something incredible. The bend of the ball, and if you haven't checked that out, jump on Twitter, jump into the highlights, check that out because it's something incredible. Sorry for screaming if we were going nuts in here. Kind of fun to see. But the Monarchs, 3 unanswered goals, 38th, 54th, and 65th. And that's the battle that the Monarchs have maybe lacked all season long, was the desire to truly show that they could win the game.
Certainly, and I think we had the great opportunity to speak to Real Salt Lake General Manager Elliot Ford during the broadcast, and he made a great point. I think you've got to put some of these younger guys like Gavin Beaver and Salcedo at centre back, and Brown and Orozco when he plays. You've got to play them alongside players that have experienced what it's like to play at the first team level. And I think what we saw tonight was exactly that. You had Douglas Martinez, Justin Portillo, Noah Powder, and a handful of other characters out there that showcased their class. Yet they were mixed in with a bunch of young. Milan Orlovsky, I thought, was really solid. I thought a number of guys were really, really good, younger guys, but they've grown in confidence because of the players around him, and that's been pivotal for Real Monarchs tonight.
Big night for a couple guys. Briggs with his first goal, first professional starts. Beavers with his first professional win. So congratulations to all them and all the fun things happening from the wonderful team that made this possible. Tom Hackett, I'm Landon Southwick. Thanks for tuning in here on ESPN Plus and locally on the KSL TV app. We'll catch you next week back home here against El Paso United on Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.